Behind the Work Order. The real story of Barrister Global Services Network.
It is 7:12 in the morning. Somewhere in America, a field technician has just received a new work order. The location is 37 miles away. The service window begins at 9. The ticket says a replacement part should be on site. There are special instructions, a required check-in process, photographs to capture, and a customer waiting for an answer. The technician sees one ticket. Behind that ticket is a client commitment, a service-level deadline, an end user whose business may be interrupted, an operations team monitoring the event, technical support waiting to assist, and an accounting process that cannot begin until the work is properly documented. One work order, many moving parts. Today we are going behind the work order and behind Barrister Global Services Network itself. This is not a commercial. It is not a defense of every decision Barrister has ever made. It is a candid look at how the network operates, why technicians sometimes experience friction, what Barrister expects from its field partners, and what those field partners have every right to expect in return. We also reviewed public technician feedback, the positive, the negative, and the uncomfortable. Some comments are opinions and unverified allegations, not established facts. But when the same operational themes appear repeatedly, they deserve to be heard. So, what really happens after that phone notification?
Segment 1. From a legal computer company to a field service network.
Barrister's story began long before mobile apps, automated dispatch, and remote support calls. Barrister was incorporated as Barrister Information Systems in 1976 and went public in 1985. In its early years, the company manufactured, marketed, and serviced computer systems for the legal profession, eventually serving more than 1,000 law firm customers. Those systems needed maintenance. That need led Barrister to establish a North American field service operation, and field service ultimately became central to the business. Today, Barrister describes itself as an IT lifecycle management company providing multi-vendor services that include on-site support, break-fix work, installations, retail technology, smart hands, logistics, help desk support, and project-based services. Its public website states that it manages a network of more than 13,000 certified and qualified technicians across North America. This illustrates the scale the company has to coordinate daily. Scale, however, is not the same as simplicity. A nationwide network has to connect clients who want consistency with independent technicians who operate in different markets, carry different skills, and make their own economic decisions about each assignment. That tension, consistency on one side, independence on the other, is where much of the technician experience is created.
Segment 2. The life of a work order.
Let us follow one service request. A client reports a problem, perhaps a failed laptop, a printer that will not feed paper, a damaged point-of-sale device, a network component that needs replacement, or a new installation requiring on-site hands. The client's agreement defines the response expectation. Some work is next business day. Some assignments have a standard arrival range. Others have a strict appointment time where a delay of only a few minutes can become an SLA failure. Barrister receives the request, reviews the location and skill requirements, identifies available technicians, and attempts to secure coverage. Once a technician accepts, the operational clock does not stop. The technician must review the request for service, special instructions, required tools, part status, site contact, and closeout requirements. Operations then monitors the service event. Is the technician confirmed, traveling, on-site, delayed, waiting for support? Is a part missing? Has the scope changed? Does the client need an update? After the technical work, documentation becomes the evidence that the service occurred. Arrival and departure times, detailed notes, photographs, serial numbers, signatures, and the final disposition may all be required. Only then can the ticket move through closure and payment processing. From the technician's perspective, repeated calls or requests for updates can feel intrusive. From the client's perspective, silence looks like loss of control. The purpose of a good system is to bridge that gap without burying the technician in unnecessary contacts. And public feedback indicates that Barrister has not always achieved that balance.
Segment 3. What technicians are saying.
Public review platforms do not provide an audited record. Reviews are self-selected, identities may be difficult to verify, and extreme experiences are more likely to be posted than routine ones. Still, the themes are consistent enough to examine. On Indeed, technician reviews describe both sides of the experience. One long-term field technician reported flexibility, available work, support with ticket closure, and payment as agreed. Another advised technicians to study the scope carefully and follow the instructions. Other reviewers criticized organization, incorrect parts, unclear requirements, portal usability, and persistent recruiting contacts. On Glassdoor, the overall company rating shown at the time of research was substantially higher than the rating posted specifically by technician reviewers. That gap matters. It suggests that the field contractor experience can differ sharply from the corporate employee experience. Reddit threads and consumer review sites contain more severe allegations, including disputes about payment, travel, rates, repeated calls, penalties, and assignment pressure. Those statements are not independently proven merely because they were posted. Barrister does not pretend they do not exist, and technicians should not treat every anonymous claim as verified. The productive question is this: what operational controls would reduce the conditions behind those complaints? Clearer scopes, accurate part status, fewer duplicate contacts, transparent rates and payment terms, documented travel agreements, reliable escalation channels, a simpler closeout process, and timely, traceable resolution when compensation is disputed. Now let us hear how those issues can feel in the field.
Segment 4. Composite technician interviews. Interview 1. Marcus, experienced break-fix technician.
Marcus is a dramatized composite of experienced technicians who have worked hundreds of service calls. What makes an assignment worth accepting?
I look at the entire job, not just the number on the work order. Distance, tolls, parking, expected time on site, required tools, whether the part is confirmed, and whether I might have to return. A $75 ticket can be reasonable 10 miles away and a loss 80 miles away. I need enough information to make that decision before I commit.
What creates the most frustration?
Scope changes after acceptance. You arrive expecting a parts swap and discover there is troubleshooting, cable work, or 2 additional devices. Or the part is not there. The technician is standing in front of the customer, so we absorb the frustration first.
What do technicians sometimes get wrong?
Some accept quickly and read later. That is backwards. Read the RFS. Check the notes, confirm the tools and the part. If something is unclear, ask before driving and document everything. If it is not in the ticket, it is hard to prove later.
Interview 2. Elena, project and retail technician.
What keeps you working with the service company?
Consistency and respect. I do not expect every ticket to be perfect. I expect accurate information, a real escalation path, and someone to listen when the site does not match the scope. I also want the dispatcher to understand that declining one ticket does not mean I have declined every future opportunity.
How do you view required updates?
The client needs visibility. I understand that. But if I check in through the app, add a detailed update, and then receive calls asking for the same information, the process is duplicating work. One update should feed the people who need it.
What would improve the relationship?
Close the loop. If technicians report the same app error or unclear instruction, tell us what changed. Even if the answer is that a fix will take time, acknowledgement matters.
Interview 3. David, new technician.
What surprised you when you started fieldwork?
The technical task was only part of the job. I thought replacing the device meant I was finished. Then I learned I needed specific pictures, asset information, detailed notes, checkout, and sometimes a signature. Nobody wants paperwork, but missing one item can hold the whole ticket.
What helped you improve?
A checklist. Before leaving home, read the ticket Verify the address, confirm parts, check tools, check the service window. Before leaving the site, test, photograph, document, confirm with support if required, and make sure the app shows the correct status.
Interview 4. Renee, technician who stopped accepting work.
Why did you step away?
It was not one event. It was cumulative, too many calls, uncertainty about travel, and a payment question that took too long to resolve. Even if each issue has an explanation, the technician experiences the total impact.
What would bring you back?
Put every financial term in writing before dispatch. Give disputes an owner and a response deadline, and when I report a process failure, do not begin by assuming the technician caused it. Review the record first.
Segment 5. Myth versus reality.
Let us clear up 5 common misconceptions. Myth number 1. Once the repair is finished, the work order is complete. Reality. Technical completion and administrative closure are different. A client may require photos, serial numbers, test results, signatures, and detailed notes. Missing evidence can delay closure and payment review. Myth number 2. Operations asks for updates because they do not trust technicians. Reality. Clients frequently require milestone visibility, but Barrister also has a responsibility to eliminate duplicate contacts when an app update has already supplied the same information. Myth number 3. A small delay does not matter. Reality. It depends on the SLA. Some arrivals are managed within a range, others are tied to strict appointments. If a delay is developing, early communication gives operations a chance to manage it. Myth number 4. The listed rate tells me whether the job is profitable. Reality. Independent technicians must evaluate the complete economics: travel, time, tools, risk, parking, return visits, and payment terms. Barrister must make material terms available before commitment and document any approved exception. Myth number 5. One ticket affects only one technician. Reality. A single service event can influence the customer's view of an entire market. At the same time, one failed internal process can influence whether an experienced technician accepts future Barrister work. Accountability runs in both directions.
Segment 6. The good, the bad, and the preventable.
3 work orders, 3 outcomes. The good. The technician checks the app the evening before service and sees an updated instruction. On the morning of the call, the technician verifies the part and required tools, arrives inside the service window, checks in, follows the RFS, contacts support at the required step, tests the equipment, and uploads complete documentation. Operations can update the client without chasing information. The ticket closes cleanly. That is not luck. It is preparation supported by a usable process. The bad. The technician accepts without reviewing the scope and arrives without the required cable tester. The customer is present, but the work cannot be completed. The visit must be rescheduled. The client sees a failed event. The technician loses time. Operations begins escalation. That failure began before the vehicle moved. The preventable. The technician performs the repair successfully, but the app returns an error during closure. Frustrated, the technician leaves without capturing the error or contacting operations. The next day, the ticket still appears open and required photos are missing. The current Barrister direction is clear: use the tech app to check in, provide detailed updates, check out, and close the ticket. If an error prevents closure, capture screenshots, email the screenshots with a brief description, and contact operations for assistance. That creates a record and gives the support team something specific to investigate. Technology failures should not be disguised as technician failures. Technicians also cannot leave a system error undocumented and expect others to reconstruct what happened.
Segment 7. The two-way commitment.
If Barrister wants dependable technicians, Barrister must be dependable to technicians. That means technicians should receive the available scope, service window, location, compensation terms, payment option, and material requirements before accepting an assignment. Changes should be communicated promptly. Approved travel or rate exceptions should be documented. Escalations should have ownership. Payment questions should receive traceable review. System feedback should produce acknowledgement and, where warranted, corrective action. Technicians also carry non-negotiable responsibilities. Be on time and prepared. Keep working hours current. Check the app for changes before traveling. Bring the right tools, gear, and required parts. Review the RFS and special instructions. Use the app for operational milestones. Document everything. Communicate professionally, even when the situation is frustrating. Escalate early enough for someone to help. Professionalism is not silence. A professional technician can challenge an incorrect scope, decline uneconomic work before accepting it, document a site problem, and dispute a payment decision. The standard is to do it with facts, timestamps, screenshots, names, and written terms. Professionalism is equally required inside Barrister. A technician who raises a documented concern deserves review, not dismissal. A repeated process complaint is operational data.
Segment 8. Where Barrister goes next.
Barrister is approaching 50 years from its 1976 incorporation. Longevity proves survival. It does not automatically prove that every process is working today. The next chapter will be determined by execution. Can one app update replace 3 phone calls? Can dispatch match skills, geography, and availability more accurately? Can technicians see the requirements that affect their economics before accepting? Can field feedback reach the people who design the workflow? Can payment disputes be resolved through a visible, time-bound process? Can strong technicians be identified not merely as available names, but as long-term delivery partners? These are not public relations questions, they are operating model questions. The strongest network will not be the one with the largest technician count on a web page. It will be the one that technicians trust enough to answer, clients trust enough to assign, and operations can manage without avoidable friction.
Beyond the ticket.
Back at our service location, the failed device is working. The customer signs off. The technician uploads the final photo, enters the closing notes, and checks out. To the customer, that technician may be the only person from Barrister they ever meet. That makes the technician the visible edge of the entire company. But a field partnership cannot survive on responsibility flowing in only one direction. Technicians must prepare, communicate, execute, and document. Barrister must provide clarity, coordination, functional tools, consistent support, and fair administration of the agreed terms. When either side falls short, one work order becomes a complaint. When both sides perform, one work order becomes proof that a national network can deliver locally. That is the real story behind the work order. We want the next episode to answer technicians directly. What have you always wanted Barrister leadership to explain? What process works well? What creates unnecessary friction? And what is one change that would make you more willing to accept the next assignment? Send your question or a short voice recording through the contact channel provided with this episode. Comments may be edited for time, clarity, privacy, and appropriate language. No client confidential information or personally identifiable customer information should be included. Thank you for the work you do in the field, and thank you for listening.